Angelina here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys about how this year I had the amazing opportunity to model full-time traveling around the world. I love modeling, but I feel like everyone just talks about the glitz and glamorous side of it, and nobody takes the time to really talk about all the sacrifices and hard work that it truly takes to follow your dreams and make them happen. I started off modeling for 2 years part-time, and now it's been 3 years of modeling full-time. I'm nowhere where I want to be in my career, but I've definitely had the opportunity to learn so many things about following my dream, and I hope that I can share them with you guys and they can be helpful for you all as well. I'll be talking about the pros, the cons, and the biggest takeaway that I had modeling in Europe and the UK for 4 months this year. The last thing I'll be talking about is what I recommend you guys to do if you feel stuck wherever it is in the world that you're modeling or following your dreams, and what my advice for you is. So one of the first pros of modeling in Europe and the UK is, of course, that you get to expand your clientele and agencies. It's super important if you want to truly elevate in this industry. But to be honest, like every industry, there are slow moments, which is why I find it extremely beneficial to have your foot in the door in all these markets. So let's say it gets a little slow in New York, you're able to go to London and stay busy while it's a slower time. So there's a lot of brands that want to give you the opportunity, but they need you to be an in-town model, because not everyone's going to fly you out, not everyone's going to pay for everything, and you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities, or you're going to miss out on meeting a lot of amazing people because you're limiting your opportunities. So one thing that really worked for me was investing in going out to staying at another country and becoming an in-town model. Now, an in-town model is saying that you live here for a few months and you're available for castings, you're available to meet people. Now, the difference between being an in-town model and a model who isn't is that, let's say you're living in New York and ASOS wants to book you for a campaign, but they don't have the budget to fly you out. So they're going to pick another model that is in town because everyone has a budget, and that's just what they're going to do. Now, that's not saying that you can't get flown out in this industry. That's just saying that if you want to always build that clientele that can eventually fly you out, but they want to see you first, that's why it's just so important to stay in these other countries, states, so that people can get to know you there. Now, I wouldn't recommend you just going to live in another country without having the proper representation, because it is scary and you want to have the right connections. With that being said, it's important to establish agencies in that region that you are in. And if you are looking for agencies, you might need to be an in-town model to even meet them. So the first step would be, if you have a mother agent, have your mother agent to reach out to those other agencies. To say in London, there's an agency called Milk. If you want to work with them and you have a mother agent, you should have your mother agent help you get placed with them, or at least set up a meeting with them. That is literally what's been very helpful to me to navigate through this very complicated industry. So a little backstory is, last year during this time of the year, I felt really stuck in New York, and I felt like even though I had a lot of support, I felt like not everyone was truly believing in me. So my mother agent, which is why is another reason I say you should have one, recommended to me that maybe it's time to just switch it up and go to a whole other market and just build a new clientele basis. So when I moved to London back last February, I literally thought I was only going to go for Fashion Week. I had nothing booked yet, but I was just going to be an in-town model. And because I opened that door and that possibility for me, I did have an agency out there, and they were able to go ahead and share my portfolio with clients out there. And at that time, I was trying to book a show. So while I was finishing up Fashion Week in New York, I booked UK fashion show, and I had no idea that I would end up being in London for 4 months. I really thought it was just gonna be a week, that I'd be back in time for Valentine's Day. Cray. That just goes to show that I would have never had that opportunity to walk for that show if I didn't make that uncomfortable leap to be an in-town model. And that's where one of the pros comes. If you make those uncomfortable leaps, you will have opportunities. When you are an in-town model, more brands who have lower budgets but are just as amazing will be able to book you and open other opportunities for you. So that was super helpful, because when you are an in-town model to London, it also makes you an in-town model to Europe. And There's a lot of markets out there in Scotland, Sweden, Germany, Spain, and I was able to have my mother agent share my book to different regions. I got signed in Sweden, Germany, and Barcelona. So all of a sudden, it seemed like I should probably stay a little longer and give these other agencies the opportunities to share my portfolio, expand my clientele, as I have now expanded my agencies. In the beginning of my journey while being in London, like I said, I only thought I would be there for a few weeks. And I left my relationship, my family that I'm very close to, and pretty much all stability that I had, I just dropped and left. And that was extremely uncomfortable for me, but I was able to book my first hair campaign ever. I was able to see casting directors I probably would have never been able to meet. I was able to be in rooms that I probably would never be in and meet so many beautiful people along the journey. So that just goes to show how important it is to just allow yourself to be uncomfortable to see how far your potential can go. And in the beginning, I was not okay with that. I was so uncomfortable. I wanted to go home. You'll see 2-3 months later that, oh, because I did that, I am where I am. But imagine if you never made that decision, you wouldn't be where you are. So don't be afraid to take risks. It's easier said than done, but you'll know once you start taking these risks how it can become addicting, taking risks, because your life just starts becoming so blessed and abundant because you trust not only in yourself, but whomever you believe in. And then my next pro is, if you're an American model and you have an American passport, you have such an opportunity and a blessing to travel that a lot of people who don't have that passport don't have. Use these opportunities because there are other people who are working so hard to get those opportunities, and if you have them, stop waiting, just do it. And once you do it, you're gonna see all the blessings align for your career and your life. When you're a model working in London on stage, it's easier for clients to fly you out to all these other countries versus if you're a model in New York. Why would they fly out a model from New York if they have just a perfect enough model here in London that they can go ahead and fly to all these other European countries? That's not saying it doesn't happen, but if you're working your way up, even though you're available to be booked in the US and you're waiting, what's the point of waiting in your apartment for a job versus putting some work in it, getting uncomfortable, going to another country and making clienteles out there that will allow you to grow in your business? Not only that, but I was also really fortunate in those lonely times to make the best out of it. After I got out of my funk, I started going to museums, I started reading a lot, I started getting closer in my faith, I started to even get closer in my relationships, friendships, and my personal relationships, because you truly will begin to see who's truly on your team and who's really just there as, like, what are those climbers? Oh, who are just there as social climber friends. So I feel like it's super important to get out of your comfortability. Whatever you do in your life, move out of that small state, move out of wherever it is, start small. Then it's a good way to see who truly is on your side and who is just leeching on you. Now I'm going to talk about a few cons that truly end up being a pro if you look at it on the bright side. I feel like it's extremely important to be transparent about these so that you guys are able to know the truth about this. Like I said, I went to London around the beginning of February for Fashion Week thinking I was going to be there for 1 week. What ended up being 4 months meant I missed a lot of my close friends' birthdays, I missed a lot of holidays. Not only that, but I have a partner that I had to then become in a long distance relationship, and just a lot of things that made my life a little harder and gave me FOMO. It gave me just all sorts of emotional roller coasters. So I feel like I should. So number one con is you will have to start fresh. You'll have to make new friends. You'll have to push yourself out of your comfortable zone. I was DMing other models that I knew were on stay. I was reaching out to my agents asking if they wanted to have dinner. I was popping on the agency. I was doing things that I wouldn't do normally because I am more of an introvert. Pretty much starting fresh, and even though you have a whole life back home, it's extremely important to create a community wherever it is that you're working, because it's going to help the time go by faster, and like, you're so fortunate to be there already that you might as well go in it with a better attitude. There was times that I was literally waking up crying, spending all day in the bed, and it took me like a month to realize that I'm in London. Like, I need to stop being in my feelings and appreciate all the opportunities I had. You need to be okay with rejections, because in this industry, there are a million no's and one amazing life-changing yes that happens all throughout the journey. And it's so important to learn to just be okay with it. In the past 24 hours, in the modeling industry, like, we're constantly getting denial, and just, you have to be ready to take no's. That's something that I definitely am proud that I've learned about, because in this world, like, you don't want to have a breakdown when things don't go your way. Tell me why God works in mysterious ways, because that job I got released for, today they're asking to meet me at a go-see in London, so we're going there now. I'm super excited. If I don't get it, but we got it, we got this. So I just got out and I met the main makeup artist for this brand. But I also want to say, like, I think I got too excited that they called me to see me, because truthfully, like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, they could just take it back. And when I got there, they were like, thank you for coming, and she was like, oh, I love your lashes. And I told her, oh, I actually had run out of mascara, so I put like just individuals from Glamours on, and she said, oh, they're beautiful, but can you take them off? I just feel like I wasn't prepared, because I shouldn't have came with these on, now that I think about it, and I should have really came with my natural lashes, even if I didn't have mascara. But I was just trying too hard, and that's just a reminder, like, never to try too hard, and just be who you are, and whether they want it or not, like, that's what it is. So we'll see. Like, I put my phone on airplane mode, because, like, these are the moments that matter. Like, they might say no in the next 30 minutes, or they might say nothing, or they might say, here's your flight. So it's a lot, man. But like I said earlier, you just gotta be prepared for whatever. So I'm gonna walk home. It's a 40-minute walk, but this is why I love walks, because it gives you time to just, like, refresh and prioritize what really matters, because I still love myself whether or not I got it, and I'm proud of myself. And not be so hard on yourself. I have a moment where I was so excited to meet this makeup artist, because she's also Latina like I am, and I just love meeting other Latinas in this industry. I was trying to be overly prepared that I wasn't really going as my authentic self. For example, I was like, oh, it's a makeup, I don't know why in my head I had the idea that I should put lashes on. I just wanted to, like, amplify myself. But it's so important in this industry to just go as yourself. All the times that I wore barely any makeup, I let my hair natural, I wasn't pressed on my outfit, I just went professional and natural as myself, were the days that I booked something. And the times that I did too much makeup, added the eyelashes, did too much to myself, and took so long to get ready, and tried so hard with my outfit, were the days that I got denied, like this day that I met this incredible woman. So I come with eyelashes, and little did I know that this casting was for a mascara brand. So as soon as she saw me, she was super sweet. Everything was going great. She commented on my eyelashes and told me they were beautiful. And when I felt like I had to be honest, I was like, oh, these are falsies. You could just see her reaction changed immediately. You could tell she wasn't interested in me anymore. And that's how quick you can be rejected. Like, you have 1 second to stand out, and in that second, you can lose it. But the day I booked the Dyson hair campaign was the day that I went into that casting. I remember I went with my natural hair. I just put concealer on. I didn't put mascara on. I didn't do nothing. I just did basics, wore a basic outfit. I went in there like, it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. I wasn't so pressed on it. Before I got in there, they told us, make sure you're ready. Make sure you have your book ready. Make sure everything's ready. Don't have these casting directors waiting. There's like 10 of them in there. They put all the pressure in. At that point, I was living in London for 3 months. I was like, at this point, I've been rejected so much. If I get rejected again, I don't care. So I just walked in there, and I thought I was ready, and I had my book on my phone. Little to behold, I tried to show them my book, and it had disappeared. So now I'm just wasting their time telling, wait, I'm looking for. But instead of being frantic and freaking out, I was so into if it happens, it happens, that I was just started joking with them. And I was like, guys, I swear it's worth it. Just give me a second. I'm sorry. Like, I was just authentically real with them, and I was like, whatever, I got nothing to lose. And I booked the job. And that's just crazy. And those two examples are just always going to be a lesson in my life, that the times that I was overly worried about it, I didn't book it. The times that I didn't tell the whole world about it, my family, like those times I don't talk so much about it, I booked it. Another con is the time difference. In the beginning of the time that I was out there, the time difference was really getting to me. I was able to book some e-com, which is like pretty much when you go shopping, go on the ASOS app and you might be able to find me on there, and that's pretty much like what e-com is, when the models are just posing for online clothes. And that's kind of like our bread and butter. If we're not booking campaigns, more than likely we're making sure we're booking at least one e-com day a week. And it was really tough in the beginning because I was still adapting to the time, and I was going to sleep at 3 a.m. and waking up at like 7 a.m. to get to work, or 6:30 a.m. So the jet lag was really getting the best of me. And then you have to be in front of the camera with these bright lights and your eyes are like this small because you're so tired. It's super important to work out whenever you're actually jet lag. It helps reset your clock. They say if you step on the green grass barefoot, it's another way to reset your clock. So I was trying all of those things, whatever I could, to reset my clock, because I didn't have 2 weeks, 3 weeks of time to reset my clock. I was trying to be the best that I could be from the beginning so that it could just be a successful time. So that's one of the cons, but I promise you'll figure it out. Another thing that I noticed that was a con but could also be a positive is that not only will you see your friends and family's true colors of who really believes in you and the support that matters, but you also see the agent's true colors. So in this industry, you have the opportunity to have multiple agencies, and sometimes you gotta let them go. If they were good for that time of your life and you learned a lot from it, just like friends, you'll learn that along the way. So when you start seeing that you're going to different countries and working, and you see who's proud of you and who's aligning their work with the work you're doing and seeing your value, because you're elevating as a model. So if your agents aren't seeing the model you've elevated to, and they're still thinking that this is where you are and you have so much more to get here, but you're truly here already because you're making all the sacrifices, it's time to let them go. Because I swear there's other agencies out there that feel like you're already up here and they're just waiting for you to be able to sign with them. But you'll never be able to get there if you're just stuck with small town mentality. I do believe that everything and everyone is meant to be in your life if they're there for a reason and for a time. So learn from it and grow from it, but don't allow yourself to be so comfortable and stuck on it and feel like in order for me to grow, I need to stick with them. No. You should have a yearly meeting with them and say, these are all the goals I have for you as my agent, and if they're not doing those, then you need to find one that will do those. Because I promise there are agents out there that truly believe in you so much that you'll be shocked of how much they believe in you, because not even you believe in yourself that much. So the biggest takeaway of everything I've said is be okay with being uncomfortable to make your goals happen. You'll know you're doing something when you're in your life, when you're uncomfortable, when you're in your feelings, when all those things are happening. Just remember that those moments, those sacrifices, those struggles are destined to happen in order for you to get where you need to be. If you don't go through that, there is no growth. So it's so important to be okay with being uncomfortable. At this point, I'm ready to tap that on my forehead. I'm okay with being uncomfortable, because I swear it's what's been so helpful to get me where I am today. I hope that this was super informative and helpful for everyone that is trying to follow their dreams, because even though these dreams are about becoming a model, I do believe that they align with other people who have all sorts of dreams. So thank you so much, and until next time.